Okay, good morning, everyone. And anybody that is joining us online, thank you for joining us. We'll call the meeting to order. And the first order of business, if we could please stand and we can take a moment of reflection. And we'll also have a moment of silence as well, if I could ask that. One of our staff members, their daughter passed away this past week. So I would like to take a moment of reflection for Ashley as well, too. Please. Thank you. I'll ask if there's any declaration of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof. Councillor Noon. Joyce?
I'm going to declare a conflict of interest for item section 10.1.1, correspondence from the Friends of Ayton, as I am a member on that committee. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joyce. Anyone else? If at any time it can be declared, of course. We have a number of delegations this morning to start off, but before we do that, I'm going to ask Ms. Noble. Can you give us an update on anybody that is joining us online, please? Ashley.
Thank you. And through you, Mayor Eccles, before I begin at any point, if you get disconnected, you can dial 1-647-558-0588 and enter the ID for this meeting, which is 891-5626-2480. Both members of council and staff have been briefed on the various features of the Zoom meeting software and will be raising their hands physically to speak. For members of the public, if you require any technical assistance, please send a chat message to myself, Ashley Noble, Communications Coordinator, and I will attempt to assist you. It should be noted for members of the public that this meeting is taking place across two meeting platforms, both on Zoom as well as being live streamed on YouTube. Public participation, if any, must be done through Zoom and cannot be done through YouTube at this time.
Thank you, Ashley. We're down to delegations. Our first delegation this morning is William Bishop. And I'm missing you out there. Sorry, Bill. If you could want to make your presentation from the table there. And it's the gray button on that microphone. As soon as you hit that, it'll turn red and you're live. And I just want to say, my clerk this will be one of the few times he gets to play. You have 10 minutes and he's already got you started for 10 minutes, just to keep the time in place. Bill, the floor is yours.
I'd like to talk to council about issues on Townsend Lake Road, where I live. In 2013, I'm going to give you a brief history quick. 2013, Brian Purcell, when I did the renovations in the addition, he recommended river rocks around my property so I could keep the water flow away from it. Then in June of 2016, I built a massive retaining wall with 30 or 40 cinder blocks, which you've got pictures of on the agenda, to help with the water diversion. And we dug back 3 feet and filled it full of clear stone and landscape cloth. Then in 2018, we still were having water problems, and Brent, the superintendent at that time, he came and I agreed to a river rock bed on town property that would drain into my property and then go down the hill and in the woods, because I had already dug like 3 or 4 channels of weeping tiles with clear stone over the years. And then I spoke to Jeff in 2023 and asked him to come and look at the hill. And I've asked Christine Robinson, when she was mayor, she didn't come and take a look at it. So it's been an ongoing issue since 2013. And unfortunately, on August the 31st of this year, all the water from the road came with that heavy rain. I called the emergency roads department. They contacted me back. And the only person that really consistently comes is Tim Cook and takes a look at things. But the issue is all the town water, all the road water came onto my property that day. It damaged my laneway. I had to dig up again and retrench, take the weeping tile out for another 150 feet because it all clogged. So over the years, just for water diversion, not this year, not from the damage, I spent over $31,000 and over the last 10 years. And it's to try to keep the town water away from my property. But this time I lost my air conditioner. If you take a look at the water lines where the air conditioner is, it went in where the electrics are on, the air conditioner was on. It fried the air conditioner. I still have it at home. So I'm asking council for compensation for materials and a new air conditioner. I installed it myself. So I'm not asking for labor for that, but I'm asking for out-of-pocket expenses. I'm not asking for any labor for myself, which I spent probably 40 to 60 hours doing cleanup and stuff after the flooding. But for center gray lumber, I had to buy new weeping tile. The bill is 106.38. Home Depot was 44.93. And for Al Thompson Excavation to come in and do all the work and clean up again, was 3,600 or 3,062.30. And for the new air conditioner, because I buy a place, they gave me special pricing when I explained to them, it was 2,117.54 for a total of 53.31.13. And because it's been an ongoing problem, I'm hoping council can see fit and helping me out with these expenses. I'm not asking for my own labor at this point in time. And I've spent one day with Al Thompson when he was there helping to move the river rock, and 3 days prior to, because I had to dig out the river rock bed that we originally put in with Brian Marcel with the weeping tile, because it's too difficult with an excavator to redo the thing. So I did it all by hand. It was 3.5 days.
Thank you very much, Bill. We will take that under consideration unless there's any questions for Mr. Bishop. Mr. Hutchison, Councillor Hutchison.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. We'll take your request into consideration. I'm just curious, when I look at the roadway, and I haven't driven down this road for a little bit, is there not a ditch, and would there not be a culvert underneath your driveway at the road? I just don't see a ditch on the pictures that you submitted.
That's been the issue. I've asked for years to fix the grading on the road. I've also lost, because I do appliance service, I've lost glass for oven doors because the road's so rough. But the issue is there's no ditching and no culverts. And when Brent came, they did redirect the water for a period of time, and it worked going into that little channel that I sent the picture. And then it would go into my area and then down the hill and into the woods. But because of over the years of grading, the road got higher again, and then the water just kept coming down. They have now looking like they're going to do some ditching and culverts and stuff like that. Now but it's been an ongoing issue since Brian Marcel and I talked about it in 2013, and Brent's been there. And requests from the former mayor to come out and visit me. She said she would, but never showed up. And so it's not something, that's why I'm asking this time, because I put out of pocket over $31,000 for water redirection. And I'm happy to have done that, but this time it's just getting a little, I'm lucky my son was there to help me, because I wouldn't have been able to keep it from going in the house, and it would have been, and my insurance for overland water is $5,000 deductible. So as I said, my insurance company sent a letter as well.
Thank you.
Anything further? Councillor Forrester, Scott?
My question was about the culvert too. I was wondering, was there a laneway permit for this laneway when it was installed?
The laneway was there when I purchased the house in 2011. So I don't know if there was permits issued, but I know it's been there since I moved in, and it's been there since the original owner built the house.
Okay, and the house has been there 30 years?
I think over 30
Over
years.
30.
I think the well was done in 86 or 92. I can get the well permits if you want, but that's it's because I do have that at home.
Yeah, that just
And the
curious.
addition was put on in 2012 and 13.
Yeah, when you did that
Yeah,
yourself.
and then I built a shop at the back, so.
Okay. Anything else? How does council want to handle this? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Echols. And thank you very much this morning for bringing this to our attention. I think it would be appropriate to ask staff to bring back a report and maybe some furtherance on the history, and so that we understand what they've tried to do. We've heard your points there, and well, duly noted, if you will. But if we had a report come back, then we make an assessment at that time, I think would be appropriate. Plus, we'd have to discuss the financial part with our treasurer. So that's what I'd like to see happen, is just at least get staff to respond to it.
Okay, I think that might be appropriate. Leave it at that. I don't believe we have anything in the budget at this point in time, Bill, for that. And I'm just wondering about the precedence of it. One of the things that is available is a, would have to be done by yourself as a request to, I believe that we might have insurance on that to see whether it would be through us. And that wouldn't be your deductible, it would be the municipal insurance. Might be the aspect to take a look at. But at this point, I'm going to take Deputy Mayor Hutchison's advice, and we'll do some investigation, look for a staff from our building and from the roads department on this, and take that advice under consideration. Okay. All right. So are you going to put that motion forward, Tom?
Yeah. I was going to, I was going to wait for the clerk to give that advice, but I will put that motion forward. And I know I can't really always put us tight deadlines on things, but I would really like to see this sooner than later, if you will, please. So it does get rolled into next year. Thank you.
Okay. I have a seconder for that. Councillor Hutchison. Any further comments or questions? Call the question. All those in favor of that direction? That is carried. Thank you. And thanks very much. That's about as close as we're going to get. That will be the record. 6 seconds left on your time there, Bill. There's going to be another delegation coming up here shortly, and I'm going to try to keep him to that same level, Mr. Leach. Thanks, Bill. Second delegation we have this morning is Al Leach. I know Al Moore is a Lion Club member, and that's why I'm saying when Al gets a microphone, he likes to roar into it for quite some time. And he's going to stand today, and at his age, he'll be able to stand for a long time. So we're going to put the clock on you today, Al. And Ross. Floor is yours, Al.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members and staff. I want to thank you for the opportunity to make a presentation to you. We have a PowerPoint presentation, which the young lady at the back is going to place before you. We are members of the Mount Forest Aquatics Ad Hoc Advisory Committee, and some members of our committee are here Ray Tout, and our chair, Miss Sherry Burke, is part of our committee as well. So as you might be aware, we're looking to build a new swimming pool down in Mount Forest. And we can move to the next slide, please. These are just some members of our committee. The old pool has been closed, actually been closed for a couple of years, and it will be shortly removed from the site. Next slide, please. Trying to stay in this time limit. In 2018, there was a master plan done by Wellington North, looking at the existing, it was the Lion Roy Grant Pool. It was determined at that time that a new pool would be required within the municipality. Looked at a number of locations, and it was set that the new pool would be built near our sportsplex in town. That way we can take advantage of the parking and an open field area for building. The projected cost is 5.3 million. And the municipality has committed 2.8 million over a course of years through a tax levy. And the community fundraising, which we are part of, is looking at raising 2.5 million. We looked at the feasibility of doing an indoor pool. And for a small community of our size, that was just not feasible. The cost would be well over double the 5 million. And then obviously be ongoing costs, 365 days a year to run an indoor pool. So next slide, please. So that's an architectural rendition of what the pool looks like. There's not much extra information to give you there. Our goal is just to raise this fund so we can get underway with this new development. Next slide, please. So there was a conceptual drawing was put in. This will be an accessible beach entry, lap swimming, diving, tank, kids play area for swim lessons, an area for old people like myself to go in and splash around. I remember I just did, sidestep occasionally, just did a nostalgic tour to the city where I was born and raised in Galt there a week ago. And the pool I swam in 70 years ago is still there, an outdoor pool, and it's operational. And that had a lot to do with my upbringing as a child, made me aware of the dangers of water, the dangers of a pool. We got instruction on how to swim and how to be safe and how to dive properly. So an outdoor pool to me is something that's definitely a need in the community. Next slide, please. So it provides a way for people of all ages to stay fit and healthy. It helps, support the community in a number of different ways. And it enhances health and fitness and stimulates community growth. Next slide, please. I know I'm moving through these quickly, but council has been sent this information in advance. So it promotes physical health, provides safe and constructive activities. As I indicated for myself, it meant a lot when I was growing up. One of the new advantages of the pool that has been designed today, the filtration system will recycle the water as opposed to emptying it on a regular basis into the storm sewers. This will be a recycling system. So over time, we're going to save millions of gallons of water through recycling activity. And part of the reason we're here today is because we are neighbors. Municipality of Mount Forest and Wellington North are neighbors to West Grey and to Southgate. So next slide, please. That's the one thing that is important to us, not just with the pool, schools, and of course, medical facilities, as you're well aware, parks, playgrounds, other recreational opportunities attract people into our communities. They make our community stronger, and swimming facility is part of that recreational complex and that opportunity. You have the opportunity of swimming here in the Durham Conservation Area and previously at the Varney Conservation Area. So we think a new pool will help serve some of your residents in the south part of West Grey, Plumeville, and the Ayton areas, as well as some other southern parts of the area. And we think the pool is part of that important community mix. Next slide, please. There are a number of donor recognition levels. And, if council wants to have, it might look a little funny, the West Grey Mount Forest swimming pool, but for a slight donation of $500,000, you can have your name on our new pool here in Mount Forest for the next 20 years. You can also write a personal check for that amount. We will give you a tax receipt for that $500,000. And thank you very kindly for that donation. So if anybody puts their hand up in the next 30 seconds, we will declare that as a given. Anyways, Any of the smaller donation levels up to 100,000, if somebody's interested in making that donation, please contact us in advance to make sure that opportunity still exists. There's just some examples there, sunshades, if you're in the bronze donation category, but we want to make sure that, that hasn't already been selected and paid for. So next slide, please. So these are some of the examples of things that you can sponsor: umbrellas, lifeguards, stairs, or chairs, diving boards, sunshades. These are some of the things that can be sponsored at those various levels. Next slide. Any donation over $20 gets a tax receipt issued by the municipality. All payments go through the municipality, not through to the ad hoc committee. We have on there that any donation over 10,000 can be made over a 3-year period, and with Councillor Burke's permission, indicate that we've made a presentation to Southgate, and they asked if they could do this over a 5-year period, and that's been agreed to by Wellington North Council. That extends the opportunity for an adjoining municipality to participate in a donation over a longer period of time. Oh, it's $25 to get a tax receipt. And if it's over $1,000, then you get public recognition. And if it's over that, there's other donation levels that are available. Next slide. So far, we have raised or have pledges in the amount of $250,000 towards this new pool. If we raised $2 million, then the construction will start on the pool operation. Ray and I are here to answer any questions that council or staff may have. Next slide, please. Thank you for the opportunity. So any questions that may arise, that Ray and I can try to answer those best we can.
2 minutes and 47 seconds left. Pretty good, Al. A lot better than at any Lions Club meeting I've ever been at with you. Any questions for Mr. Tout or Mr. Leach? Or is it just the neighbors in Grey County that you're approaching, or Wellington County lower tiers are also contributing big time?
Well, like I said, we've been to a number of service organizations, and we've been to Southgate. This is, I think, our fifth or sixth presentation today. We have to time them according to when council meets as well. So we are also are making a grant application to the, is it federal or provincial? Go.
My name is Sherry Birkin. I'm the chair of the Aquatics Committee and also a counselor for the Township of Wellington North. So as some of you may know, at AMO in August, there was an announcement for Recreation, Sports and Infrastructure Fund. We are preparing an application for that. We also met, several of my colleagues also met with the Recreation Minister shortly after that announcement was made, with a really good feeling coming back from that meeting. And we hope to have that application in. Staff and Tillman Robinson, who is the architect for the design, are working on that application now. Thank you.
Thanks, Sherry.
We are also looking at other grant opportunities like Trim grant, but they have time limits on them. They're restricted, so we can't apply for it until we know the pool's construction's get underway. So, yeah, they have to be shovel ready.
Yeah. Anyone else? I'm only going to take questions from council members. Doug?
Maybe not so much a question, but just a statement. Thank you for your presentation. Realizing in West Grey, we don't have a pool, but we have a whole bunch of rivers, and with those rivers come bridges. And our dilemma is we have to fix our bridges. So my suggestion is we'll look at it at budget time, which makes sense because our budget is done for this year. I'd be interested to know what our historical donations have been to other facilities like the Hanover Pool and that type of thing. So I'd be interested in looking at that and see how that compares. But yeah, we, as you know, and as you from your area, budget's going to be tough based on the amount of money that we have come in. So look forward to having another discussion on that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Jeffrey, Councillor Shea.
Good morning. Thanks for the presentation. Will there be a charge to use the pool to the public?
Things like swimming lessons, yes, because there'll be.
But just swimming access free?
So public swimming there will be a fee. There'll be a fee for swimming lessons. There'll be a fee if you want to have a birthday party, similar to the structure that we have for the Arthur Pool and the previous Roy Grant Lyon Pool.
And the public swimming fee will be the same fee for anyone, regardless of where they live. They don't have to be a resident.
So generally, yes, because it's hard to track where some individuals live based on their address. Some of the Plumeville addresses are a Mount Forest address, so it's hard for our staff to keep track of out of the municipal area. So it would be the same fee.
And finally, did we have a presentation on this before to West Cray Council?
So yes, a couple of years ago, just after council decided where the location was going to be, myself, Councillor McCabe and Mayor Lennox, it was done through a Zoom. But at that point, it was just, that presentation was more of an awareness piece to let you know that we would be making a more formal presentation at a later date.
Thank you.
The new timing up? I'm overtime. And that's not your fault, that's mine, Al, for not managing these 10 minutes in a more appropriate manner. I'll let you off the hook on that one. I think to Councillor Hutchison, it'll certainly be, we'll take this under consideration when we're looking at budget on whether we can fit it in to help out our neighbors or prioritize it in the budget allocations, and we'll see what we can do.
I know he doesn't have his lights on. Just say thank you once again. I know you have some excellent swimming opportunities in your rivers. Not everybody wants that natural swimming opportunity. They prefer a man-made pool. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Sherry. And again, thanks, Al. Very good. 2 down, 1 to go. Robin is here today, Robin Rich, from the West Cray Youth Group. As an introduction, and a few other fellow members of the youth group as well, too. We have here today, Robin. Gray button, there you've got it. Welcome this morning. And,
Thank you.
Thank you for coming forward to give us an insight on West Cray Youth Group.
My pleasure.
The floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Robin Rich, and I'm a board member of the West Cray Youth Center, an exciting new organization which I'm here to tell you about. We are a group of 4 West Cray residents, Connie Carlson, Kat Antsef, and April Barker, who began meeting formally in April of this year with the goal of starting a youth center. Since then, we have become incorporated and done much legwork with the aim of launching our center in January of 2025. I'd like to share with you how our idea of a youth center began and evolved. In May of last year, young people ranging in age from 9 to 16 started dropping by the Harvest Table Billiards after school because they had nothing else to do, evidently. Through spending time with these kids, Connie Carlson learned that many of the families had no money for the children to participate in sports or other activities. As Connie gained their trust, the kids started asking if there was any food that they could have. And so Connie began cooking meals for them. It became clear to her that none of the kids knew much about food, let alone how to cook, but they certainly were keen to eat. And so Connie started teaching them how to prepare and cook basic meals. She taught them how to set a table and clean up, skills that apparently none of them knew much about. The feedback from parents was very enthusiastic. And before long, Connie had 24 youth taking part in her cooking classes. By mid-December, word of Connie's informal cooking classes had reached the community. The Durham Baptist Church donated snacks and pop. Good food baskets arrived from the Foursquare Baptist Church, and the Chicory Common donated fruits, vegetables, and dry goods. Recognizing a need for activities and a dedicated space where kids could go after school, Connie reached out to 3 friends, and on April 12th of this year, the first formal meeting of the West Grey Youth Center was held. In those early days, our vision developed to provide a welcoming and safe haven for local youth, providing fun and informative classes or clubs for kids to take part in at no cost. Our first and foundation program will center around food, choosing and preparing, serving and storing. The kids will cook, eat together, digest, and discuss. Initially, we'll be open 1 night a week from 3:30 to 8 p.m. with the intention of expanding to a second night in the spring. The kids will help direct our programming to a considerable degree, but some of our ideas for a second night include art, music, theater, sewing, games, and chess. Youth activities will be grouped by age and grade level. So for instance, 7 to 8 kids, grade 7, 8s will come together, and then 9 to 12. Our board meets regularly, and we've done considerable homework. Since April, we've gained not-for-profit status and formalized our mission statement and bylaws. We've spent a lot of time with people who have knowledge and expertise with youth centers. We've had numerous meetings with Jenny Hanley of the Hanley Institute, a very successful youth center in Flesherton, and with Jeremy Rhodes of Elephant Thoughts, just outside of Durham here. We met with Rebecca Broderick at the Launchpad in Hanover. We researched insurance and banking. We've made connections with the Durham Art Gallery and the library. We've met with Cody Hewitt, Michelle Harris, Councillor Jeffrey Shea, and Chief Martin. We're currently considering 2 potential venues for our youth center, but our dream is to someday have our own space, either part of a building or our own building, part of a building. And our first fundraisers are planned for November in anticipation of our opening in January, just 3 months away. The West Grey Youth Center shares common values with the town as outlined in its strategic plan. A community thrives when its youth thrive, and we've thought a lot about how to support this. Youth in Durham go to at least 5 different schools. They don't get to meet, forge bonds, or develop community. A youth center will help bring them together. It will be a safe space where acceptance and inclusion are fundamental. Here, kids can make connections, form their own community, where they'll have a seat at the table to shape programs. Kids will learn new skills, which will be directly applicable to their present and future lives. As well, a vibrant youth center will be attractive to new families looking to move here. There are troubling statistics around youth in Ontario and our region specifically. According to research in the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan of Bruce and Gray, approximately 1/4 of grades 7 to 12 students report not feeling safe at school and have been bullied in the past year. Student alcohol and cannabis use is increasing. More than 30% of students in the same age group experience moderate to severe psychological distress. 20% of kids in our region live in poverty. This is a sobering picture of youth today and the future they face. The West Grey Youth Center hopes to play a significant role in improving life for our youth and help prepare them to be future pillars of West Grey. We are a new and exciting startup. We have no money, but we have time and energy, experience and enthusiasm, and first and foremost, a deep caring and concern for our local youth and their future. We're making an investment in our local youth, and we ask that you join us. We will be asking for financial support through the West Grey Community Program. As well, we need additional volunteers and board members who can help us in various capacities, including fundraising and grant writing. Please help us spread the word and support the West Grey Youth Center. Thank you.
Very exciting times.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of work has already been completed. Any questions? at this point in time. Joyce, Councillor Net.
Thank you, and thank you for that presentation. I'm in awe, like it's what you're offering for the community. My question is, where do you currently meet that you can house this many individuals for this learning process?
Thank you for the question. Originally, it was at the Harvest Table Billiards. That started just over, well, almost a year and a half ago. And my boyfriend and the owner of the pool hall kept rapping me over the head saying, you know, this is a liability. You know, this is a liability. And I said, yeah, cooking. And then, so then I went, fine, I appreciate that. This is a business. I have to, you know, it's a pool hall and these are young children. So then I started cooking in my home. Please do not share this outside of this room. But then that's when I met with these wonderful women and I said, I'm hearing liability. I have to stop cooking with the kids. And the parents were actually involved in the cooking classes as well. So because of that, I said, okay, then we have to formalize this. I let the parents, I let the children know, which is heartbreaking for me. But I said, okay, let's form something formally. And so I put a sign up in the pool hall that children were no longer able to come into the pool hall unless accompanied by an adult. So you can imagine out front of the pool hall doors, all of these children peering in at me. But anyway, so a bit of a long story, but so right now there's no cooking going on. There's nothing happening and that's why we're so pushing to have something formally by the new year.
Okay. Anything else? Jeffrey. Councillor Shay.
Thanks for the presentation and for all the effort you're putting in. I'm glad to hear that you've outreached to so many people, including Ms. Harris. And I was just wondering, I assume that you'll be coming and applying for a community grant, and I don't know what our maximum community grants are. Is it 10,000, 5,000? But I was wondering if we might get some feedback from our CAO at a future meeting about ways that West Grey could be involved in this project. You know, giving a community grant to some volunteers that are doing good work in the community is one mechanism that we have as a municipality. But we may have others because this seems like something that's sort of vital to the community. Ever since I've lived here, which is about 35 years, there's been talk about the need for some sort of youth services within the municipality. And it's so great to see somebody finally stepping up and doing it. But I'm wondering if maybe the municipality should have a slightly more active role than just being a passive, rubber stamp to a fairly modest annual grant. So I'm wondering, Michelle, would it be appropriate to ask you at a future meeting to outline some mechanisms for support?
Thank you and good morning, Council. I'd be more than happy to come back with a report related to this. There will also be opportunities if Council so chooses. We'll be going through a budget process soon and we will be talking. There will be things coming forward that staff will be presenting based on what we've heard this past year, but there will be opportunities for Council to identify items that they might like to be included as line items in the budget as well. But I will happily come back with a report on options and perhaps some best practices and how this happens in other communities.
Yes, Deputy Mayor Hutchison. Tom?
Thank you, Mayor Eccles, and thank you for your presentation this morning. I just want to make sure that you are aware that the grants to organizations, there is I'm sure staff will get it to you, but there is an application or a process. I want to make sure that you don't overlook that. So at least you can get into the queue until we determine what we're going to do with the item during budget and further discussion. So
We are aware.
But if you don't fill that out, then
Yes, no, we're.
it'll go aside pretty
we're on
quick.
it.
Okay, thank you.
And our community initiatives officer who's hiding in the background back there. Cody is probably, hopefully he's been a good resource for you and helping.
Excellent, yes.
Glad to hear that. And
Everybody has been.
yeah,
Very supportive, yeah.
exciting times, Robin.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation and look forward to growing success in this. Okay. Down to number 5, public meeting. I don't believe we have anything in that feature. Very good. Comment period. At this time, we in our procedural bylaw, we have a maximum of 2 minutes per person, 10 minutes allotted to this time. If anybody has a comment or question about anything that's on the agenda for today. Good, sir. You've been very patient, so hopefully the question is, if you can come to the mic because of those individuals that are on.
Conduct. I didn't pre-register for 10 minutes, but I would I'd love to have 10 minutes.
I can only give you two.
Two.
If you're commenting on something that's on the agenda today.
And I'm not. I have an environmental issue that I would like to deal with within West Gray. I put a lot of time in.
Then I suggest register with, we can have a delegation at the next meeting. And
Well,
you,
unfortunately, sir, I'll have to call the Spills Action Center. I'll have to call the Ministry of the Environment and the Ministry of the Labor. Or I request, and this is not extortion, but I do request 10 minutes. It's a very important subject. I apologize in advance. Justice O'Connor, after the Walkerton tragedy, put me where I stand today with my training, and I feel this is important.
can you speak with staff then, please? It sounds like
Certainly.
it's something that should be going through there.
I've tried since Saturday morning at 7 o'clock, and they won't return my calls or my texts, so thank you.
Well, I think you'll be able to find staff available now. Thank you. Anyone else online? Let's try that. Do we have anything, Ashley? No? Okay. We're down to unfinished business. None that I'm aware of. Nope. Nope. Sure whether he does or not. Do you have anything you want to speak to, good sir? It's on the agenda? Excellent. Turn on the mic and we'll be able to hear you. I believe it's Mr. Cullerton, isn't it? Tom?
It is Mr. Cullerton, yes. I've been here before, so. I'd just like to thank.
Yeah, we
Mayor-
got, you've moved on since yeah. Tom,
I'd like to
Thank
thank
you this
Mayor
morning.
Echoes and the West Gray Council for meeting with me this morning. I'm here on behalf of the Friends of Ayton on We've given you a letter and a report on all the work that we'd like to see done at the Eaton Centennial Hall and Eaton Ball Lights. That is part of the letter. That's, we'd like for you to take hopefully some time and see what you can do about helping us fund this fundraiser that we've been working on for the past 7 years, I think it is. And we'd like to get this concluded if we can in 2025. The letter itself breaks down what we'd like to see done. And what Friends of Eaton will help with any volunteer work that can be done, like painting or, of course, electrical stuff that has to be done by an electrician, which I'm definitely not one. And also the ball lights. We'd like for some financial help also, but more than what we've asked for from the municipality for the past 7 years. So thanks.
Okay, thank you, Tom. And that will be coming up further in the on the agenda. We'll have that discussion when we get into correspondence on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. That brings us down to adoption of minutes. We have the adoption of minutes from the regular council meeting on October the 5th. If somebody to move and second that, moved by Councillor Forrester, seconded by Councillor Shea. Thank you, Jeff. Scott? Any errors or omissions, questions? Councillor Hutchison.
Are we talking October 1st council meeting? I think you said 5th.
Well, that's October 1st.
October 1st.
That's what's on the agenda, but yes, you are correct.
Okay.
I was just reading what's on the agenda.
All right.
Thank you for picking that up.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to make the correction.
All right.
Yeah. Not going to go there, Jamie. So we do have them from the October the 1st. Any other questions, comments? Call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Committee and board reports. We have a minutes from the Saugeen Municipal Airport Commission from September the 18th. We have a motion to receive those. Moved by Deputy Mayor Hutchison, seconded by Councillor Noon. Thank you, Joyce. Tom, any questions on those minutes? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Correspondence, number 10 on the agenda. We have 10 point to start with. We'll deal with the ones that need council direction. 10.1.1. And I do note that Councillor Noon is declaring a conflict as she is a member of the Friends of Eaton. Thanks. Okay. Correspondence was there. How do we want to deal with that? The request. Any questions, comments? Tom?
I do have one. I do have one question through you to Treasurer Mighton. Did we put $10,000 from their pool, if you will, towards that armor? Is that what was budgeted? I can't recall that number.
Through your mayor, we had budgeted up to 10,000. They ended up only needing just over 6,500. But that was from the Eaton Recreation Fundraising Reserve.
Thank you. I just wanted to reunite my hamster wheel with that, if you will. But I thought that, okay, so I knew there was significant savings there. So that was my first question, and I'll just wait 1 second and look at this again. Thank you.
Councillor Townsend. Doug?
Thank you. Just something, and maybe we'll get into this more into our budget discussions later on. But have we ever looked at the possibility of some naming rights on the Centennial Hall down there? I know there's been at least one business I know of and resides in Ayton that would maybe donate some money to do some renovations there for some naming rights. I don't know whether the municipality gets into some of that stuff similar to what they're doing with pools and hospice and everything else, but it might be something for us to consider. Then it would help stretch the funds that this group's already raised that much further to do other things in the community.
Who wants to? Madam CEO.
Good
Michelle?
morning, through the chair to council. We have not specifically for this one, but corporate initiatives officer Hewlett Mowbray, that's quite a handful now. He and I have been actually chatting about this, and as we know, we're going to be into a budget where we're going to be talking about wants versus needs, which is going to be a bit challenging this year. We are also going to be talking about opportunities for revenue generation, and that is something that we will bringing forward as options, perhaps not just for this project, but for other ones as well.
Okay, Councillor Hutchison. Doug?
Yeah, just speaking regarding the ball lights, I know when we upgraded the ones in Durham, I think there was a grant involved. Have we pursued the grant on these lights? I think we had that discussion before, but maybe Cody can refresh our memory on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to be more effective. I'm just going to say, Cody?
Thank you. And through you, there are some grants available for LED retrofits when it comes to ball diamond lighting, but those are organized at time of project. So it's not an application process. It's more of a rebate that we receive. We did receive a rebate when we did the lights in Newstead just this past year, fairly nominal, but there were some cost savings with that.
Tom?
Mike, last time, thank you, Mayor Altos. So through your two treasurer, what do we must have a number of what they have currently sitting in that held in trust, if you will, from the old rec. Right.
At the end of 2023, the balance in there was just over 51,000.
Thank you. So I guess I could make a motion that to receive this and request that staff reviews and brings forward a report on the cost of the retrofit for the kitchen, if you will, to the Centennial Park, as well as the checking into the ball diamond fixtures. And we bring that back, that report, we get it toward budget discussions as well, so that it all can be bundled together. That makes sense, but I think we're gonna need a staff report to match some of the numbers that we've received here from them.
Through Miracles, what I gathered from that was that in consideration of correspondence received September 23rd, 2024 from the Friends of Ayton respecting a request for use of fundraising money, council direct staff to include updates to the Ayton Centennial Hall into the draft 2025 budget.
Yeah, will there be a staff report to go and look at any of this, there, clerk, or is that, I see Madam CEO over here.
Michelle?
Good morning, council. On this matter, we've been having a lot of discussions internally because there are a lot of things coming forward that may be staff recommendations or also community-driven recommendations. I'm hesitant to have staff do a massive deep dive into full costing on this if it's not going to be something that counts. So when you have other budget choices to make, want to move forward. So what we're proposing is when the current service level budget is presented this year, that we will be coming forward with another report that has what we'll call other considerations. And in that will be a high-level summary of what the project is and an estimated high-level costing of what that looks like. And when council is presented with all of the items on that list, you can direct staff for which ones you do want to bring forward in the budget, and then we will do that deep dive. And that was how we were going to propose bringing it forward during budget for all of those items that might be similar to this type of request.
With that explanation, I will certainly just stick to what the clerk kind of wordsmith for me as the motion. Thank you.
Okay. Excuse me. So with that, is there a seconder for the deputy mayor's motion? I get one of the, let you choose one of the two Dougs down there. Doug one, Doug two. Councillor Townsend. Both have their hand up to second that. Any further discussion on that? Moving it towards consideration in the budget. Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Okay, thank you. I can see Ms. Noon, but I can't see her. Yeah, yeah. Was she sitting in that chair? She, yeah. I can't make eye contact with you. I was waving to Councillor Noon to come back in, but yeah, the, yeah. Screening there. Okay. Second one, I believe, is a correspondence to council and the mayor and deputy mayor and council on the Allen Park concession 2, south of the Durham Road, Allen Park Road. And correspondence is there. I think basically what it is a 1.5 kilometer stretch, and a request again for that to be included in our 2025 budget. Any questions or comments on this from Ms. Godfrey? Joyce, Councillor Noon.
Well, thank you. And yeah, reading her report, I don't know if she's making things just current as well, but based it's used as a detour right now. I'm finding that surface of road is just as good as a hard top, and that the only thing I find is it's a narrow road, like there's no shoulders to it. So when you do meet traffic, and I did meet a combine one morning coming, and luckily I seen it in advance, or there's no way we could have passed each other because there's just no allowance on that road. But other than that, I think if good calcium base is left on that road because of its needs, I think for budget purposes right now, I think it's a well-traveled, groomed road right now.
Councillor Hutchison.
Yeah, and given that the circumstance right now it is a bypass because of the Gray Road 3 being closed, but that's going to change hopefully soon. Every day I drive by there, I'm hoping soon they're going to open that road. But anyways, I would be interested in finding, they talk about paving, but I'd be interested in knowing the cost of tar and chip for that section, given that it's not going to be as busy in the future, but it is a convenient bypass for that corner, I guess, if people want to go that. And we do have Allen Park in the conservation area, which gets a lot of use to. So I'd be interested in tar and chip cost. So it'll be a budget item.
Okay, further, Joyce? Okay,
Again, based on the landscape of that road, like with the hills and dales, like what she's asking for, you'd have to do major construction to take away those hidden sites. Like, I'm even surprised with all the building that's been allowed on that road over the years because of that, like so many hidden driveways. Like there's one road that would be an exception for speed because of the landscape, but it's a difficult one that paving it, yeah. It's great, but it's not going to help the situation at all as far as safety.
Okay, Deputy Mayor. Huh?
Mayor Eccles, and yes, I do travel that a lot. It is very busy right now because of the bypass. Absolutely, we're all well aware of that. And I think that's getting closer and closer every day. I think if this was to be hard surfaced, I think it's just, one is, then we're going to be continuously listening to the speed, and then it's going to be safety. And it's just going to be a matter of time before something happens that we certainly don't need to have happen. We can prevent it. I think that road, I've traveled it basically daily. I think, yes, after the rains, but I think once the traffic's gone, it won't be as much traffic on here. Are we going hardship that or tar or pave it or anything? That's just going to be an expressway for people going speeding, bypassing the roundabout, which you're not gaining anything because that roundabout is very effective. So I think the condition it's in, once this all construction's done in the spring, we go back in, we do the grading, we calcium it, and just I think it's just like any other one of our roads in our lovely municipality. But this one actually seems to be one of the better conditions because of the traffic. So I can't see supporting that with all the other infrastructure pressures we have during budget. That's where I'm at. Thank you. I would say we receive it.
Councillor Johnson. Go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As somebody who's lived on a gravel road in West Gray here for over 30 years now, she's not identifying that anything that isn't different on any other gravel road in West Gray. It's, when people choose to live where they choose to live, and if they make the choice or if they don't feel it's safe, then I don't feel it should be on the taxpayers' dime to help to try and make the situation better. And in fact, to what Deputy Mayor Hutchison said and Councillor Hutchison, in my opinion, it'll probably only make it worse if you pave it or hardtop it, because then it turns into a speedway then, and with the hills and everything. So no, I couldn't support this initiative.
Okay. We want to receive this. There must be, Councillor Noon's thoughts, I'm seeing some of the pictures here. There must be enough road allowance to be able to pull over and take pictures while you're in the car, certainly. I need a motion to receive this. Deputy Mayor Hutchison, thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Noon. Any questions on that? Doug? Councillor Hutchison.
Just a thought. So maybe we need to look at the speed on that road. I don't know if there's any way of slowing the traffic down, like speed signs. I mean, they work sometimes, but sometimes they don't. Some kind of speed bumps, gravel speed bumps. I don't know what that looks like, but I see we have one at the landfill now. We have one on the pathway, the ATV trail. We have a speed bump. So anyways, just some way of slowing the traffic down. If that's our concern with safety and hidden driveways, get the traffic slowed down. And how you do that, I don't know. Big combines in the middle of the road, maybe they have to go around.
Deputy Mayor Hutchison.
Well, real quick, we don't have motion on the floor, but to answer, respond to that, Councillor Hudson, yes, it is posted 60. There's no relevance to it. It's just like the rest of the entire planet. People are going as fast as they possibly can, and that's it. So 60 is posted. That doesn't mean a hill of beans. So, and it's local traffic and it's busy traffic. So anyways, back to the motion, please.
Thank you. Anything further on the motion to receive this? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. All right, and then we must have, I think there's 5 or 6 others, sorry, there's 7 others. in there that have been dealt with at other council meetings. How do you want to receive those? Doug?
Well, this is new correspondence, right? These are ones that we haven't seen before.
Yes.
Right. So I'd like to poll and support 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I think our clerk has something ready for that. If you like, I can speak briefly to each one of those or one at a time, or however you like to do it.
When we get a motion on the floor, you wanted to pull that? Do I have a seconder for that? Yep. Okay. Yes. Yeah, it's just. Well, we needed to pull them, then we could discuss it. Motion. It's nice the fluidity of that procedural. Why not? Yeah, I got another couple of years to learn it. You've pulled them, speak to them, Councillor Hutchison.
Okay, thank you. So the first one having to do with the Temiskaming Shores, Temiskaming, regarding alcohol sales in convenience stores and locations that fuel drivers get their fuel, I guess, or deliver fuel. Obviously, this is one that already has gone through in terms of moving sell of alcohol in convenience stores. But I think the interesting thing with this one is that they're asking for the government to think about future additions to this without and allowing municipalities to have some input. So permit municipalities to opt out of retail alcohol expansion, to look at rezoning, making sure it's not close to schools, prohibit sale of alcohol at gas stations. I'm not sure if that's already happened, I think, but I just thought that there's a number of things in here that are worthwhile supporting to maybe get our government to look at this move of making alcohol more accessible without having any input from local municipalities. So I thought it was worthwhile supporting. That's number one. Want me to keep going?
You want to put that on as a motion to deal with it?
Sure.
Okay. Councillor Hutchison, what have you got, Jamie?
It's okay, I got it. I'll figure out the mic system one day. That in consideration of correspondence received from the city of Temiskaming Shores respecting alcohol sales, provincial alcohol strategy, council directs staff to send a letter of support for the resolution to the Premier of Ontario, the Deputy Premier and Minister of Health, the Attorney General, the Minister of Transportation, Rick Byers, MPP, Bruce Gray on Sound, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, the Rural Ontario Municipal Association, the Grey Bears Health Unit, and the West Grey Police Services Board.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Forrester. Any further discussion or comments? This is one that I doubt that the province is going to go any further on, for the simple fact, be careful what you ask for, because they may ask us to do the enforcement, but I doubt very much if they're going to supply any revenue from that sale on this syntax for us. That would be one of the few things that I don't see in here with Temiskaming Shores. But that's fine. Any further questions, comments? Call the question. All those in favor? That's carried. All right. Second one was item number 2, Municipality of St. Charles.
So this one has to do with trying to get a handle on tobacco and vaping products sales, and the government has come up with or the health department's come up with or producers, I guess, an idea of come up with nicotine patches, but they don't seem to be regulating, and there seems to be an issue with being able to sell nicotine patches to youth So this is basically asking the government to put some regulations and control who can buy nicotine patches. You know, the idea is good that they're trying to get people to kick the habit of smoking or vaping, but with very little regulation. So basically, that's what this is asking for, is that strengthen the regulations to restrict sale of new and emerging tobacco and nicotine products, especially to children and youth. So thought it was worthwhile supporting.
Okay. Any further comments on this? I'm gonna just make one good from the chair. I noticed this one and the last one were all going to the Minister of Health as well too. From West Gray's perspective, I'm not sure how well that will be received, because we've made a few requests from the Minister of Health recently on maybe even a bigger issue on a hospital, and still haven't heard anything back from her. But we'll see if St. Charles and Temiskaming Shores has better luck at getting a response from the minister. Doug?
But the thing is, if we don't make comments, if we don't put something out there, then it's like, it's okay. We don't say anything. It's okay. And I think by supporting these resolutions, we're saying it's not okay. And here's our thoughts. And then, you know, they may just toss it aside, fine, but at least we tried, right? So if we do nothing, it's the same with our hospital. We have to keep trying. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. So look forward to more discussion on that later down too.
Exactly. The way we keep trying, it seems like the only place that we'll get any places instead of communication is through legal action. We'll continue that forward as well too. Any other? So, got a motion there, Jamie?
Through that in government regulation, Premier of Ontario, the Deputy Premier Minister of Health, Rick Byers, MPP Bruce Gray on sound, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, and the Griebers Health Unit.
Okay, thank you. Mover and seconder. Moved by Councillor Hutchison, seconded by Councillor Noon. Any further questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. And I believe your next one was number 4, was it not? Sorry, number 3. Go ahead.
So next one from the Corporation of the Town of Cobourg. Motion to support involuntary care for individuals with severe mental health and addictions. And what basically they're saying here is that people who have severe mental health and addictions issues cannot voluntarily get help. Sometimes they don't know how to go about getting help, or they don't want to get help. So this is asking for involuntary care, where we actually help them to steer them in the right direction to try to get some support. So I think sometimes we have to go beyond just waiting for someone to come in and say, I need help. Sometimes people have to help. And interesting, downtown Toronto yesterday, it's amazing the number of people that are wandering in the streets that need some mental health help. And it's crazy. We're fortunate up here, we don't have as many cases, but man, some of the downtown Toronto is just crazy some days with the amount of people that have mental health issues. So anyways, I thought it was worthwhile supporting this one too, that we need to continue to work to help solve some of these issues, and I'm sure our police department would support this.
Okay, anything else? Any other comments on this one? And Jamie, do you have a motion for that?
Yes, 3 miracles that in consideration of correspondence received from the town of Cobourg respecting support of involuntary care for individuals with severe mental health and addictions issue, council directs staff to send a letter of support for the resolution to the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, the Premier of Ontario, and Rick Byers, MPP Bruce Gray on sound.
Okay. You move that, Doug? Seconder? Councillor Noon. Yeah, thank you. Any other further comments? The only thing I say on that, whom makes the involuntary or makes a voluntary decision on who involuntarily needs help? That's starting to lead us down to a police state. It's a slippery road when you start there. There's a lot of people with addictions that people will say, well, you have a mental health issue because of your addictions. We make a determination that that addicted person needs mental health, and we go and round them up, and it's one that I struggle with. But if they have mental health issues and they don't recognize that they need help, yeah, those are the ones. But it's a tough one. Anyways, that's my comment. Doug?
And just further, that, I think it's just one more avenue that we need to help some of these individuals. Housing is obviously a big one in order to get some of these people off the street. But again, even though we provide housing, sometimes some of these people won't even go off the street. They want to live on the street, right? So, and they want to continue on the path they're on. So I think it's just one more strategy to try to help some of these individuals. It's obviously, you know, it's tough out there for some people.
Absolutely. Okay, any further questions, comments? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Anything else? Yes, number 4.
Number 4. So this one comes from Bradford, West Gwillimbury. I just thought it makes sense to me that we're going through this whole process of trying to restructure our recycle program. And to me, this is a no-brainer. If we would just come up with a deposit system for all the non-recyclable, non-alcoholic beverage containers. So, you know, pop bottles, all kinds of plastic bottles. In some ways, if it was glass, like the beer bottles, maybe it would be easier. I don't know. But then you have back to the whole process of having glass all over the place. So especially when they throw them out on the side of the road. So at least with the cans, they're easy to pick up. But I think that this would help us, pop cans, plastic pop bottles, and so on, would help solve some of our recycling situation. And so I'd like to support this, and maybe it's something they'll look seriously at in terms of deposit on some of those things in return.
Okay. Any further discussion or questions? Councillor New.
It's known that the province of Alberta has been doing this probably for, let me see, Jamie's over 40 years, deposit on most materials, and you hardly see any roadside littering. In fact, they even have bins set up so far along roadside to accommodate, you know, people want to get it out of their vehicles. So it's there. All that Ontario has to do is really seek out and see how it's done. And I think it's an easy peasy. Like, I don't know why Ontario's not doing it already. So yeah, I definitely support this.
Anything further? I was in Quebec a couple of years ago and saw the exact same thing. They have basically a machine, as you said, for pop cans, beer cans, any cans, whoosh, in they go. And I don't know what the deposit, what it was. It was 5 cents or whatever, but you would see people coming up. Yep, a little bag, and up comes the change, right? Very simple. And really accentuates the idea of recycling. Makes it easier and print it, you get money back. Councillor Townsend.
I was just going to add that probably a few of us sitting at this horseshoe that are old enough to remember when you could take pop bottles back and get a nickel for them and buy something at the store.
Yeah, yes, that's when, yeah, you could purchase candy for a nickel. I don't know whether it helped our diet or not, but it was an entrepreneurial spirit. Jamie, got something for us?
Yes, through Mayor Eccles, that in consideration of correspondence received from the town of Bradford, West Gwillimbury respecting Ontario Deposit Return Program, council directs staff to send a letter of support for the resolution to the Minister of Environment, Conservation and Parks, the Minister of Finance, and Rick Byers, MPP, Bruce Gray, Owen Sound.
Thank you. Move that again, Doug. Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Noon. Any questions on the motion? Then I'll call the motion. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Thank you. Is there any other ones that we'd like to take? Yeah. Okay, then to receive the rest of them and the other ones in our package. And I have a motion for those. Councillor Townsend, Deputy Mayor Hutchison. Thank you. Any questions on those? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. An hour and 20 minutes. Can we take a 10-minute break? 9-minute break. We'll be back at 10:30. Refill our cups. Empty our cups. Let's call the meeting back to order again. And that's it for correspondence. Jamie, nothing else left there. We do have two staff reports, 11.1.1. Both of them are from Public Works. At this point in time, welcome Director Aiken. Jeff, winter maintenance agreement with Gray on Gray Road 27. Got anything left on that?
I have nothing really more to add than what's in my staff report. Very straightforward report, very similar to what you've seen in the past. Very similar payment schedule. We actually received money, so that's unique compared to most service agreements I bring you. But beyond that, I think my report summarizes it fairly accurately.
Okay, anything else on this one? Keep taking it while we can before the county downloads the road to us. That needs no response. Okay, I have a mover and a seconder to enter into this agreement, Councillor Noon and Councillor Townsend. Any further questions, comments on the motion? I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you. And then 11.1.2 is the access agreement, Durham Waterworks. Jeff?
Yes, so back when the Rockwood Terrace project started, we did enter into an agreement selling some land and acquiring some land. Part of the land we will eventually require is where the well that we're drilling. We'll eventually acquire that at some point in the near future. The idea is to drill the well first to confirm the coordinates, and then finally is a service agreement for our contractor to enter upon Gray County lands to drill the well. This will be the first step.
Thank you very much, Jeff, for getting that in place before we drill the well. Any further questions or comments? Councillor Hutchison, Doug?
Yeah, I was just curious, Jeff, with the location of the well, I thought it was in, and I can't really tell from the maps and the diagrams here, but I thought the well was going to be down close to where the transformers are, just north of the South Street. Is that not the location? I was sort of curious because the building for Rockwood is quite a bit further east, building itself, the new one.
It is close to the curling club and Rockwood Terrace. It will be when Rockwood Terrace is full build out and their parking lot expands. It'll be kind of in the corner of the Rockwood Terrace property, which will eventually be ours where the well is, but more towards the curling club, that general area.
So it's east of the curling club, west of the new Rockwood, south of the old Rockwood.
So did they do a test pilot or test hole or something down in by the transformer area? Because there's a pipe there, and I thought that's where the well was going to go, but must have been just a test hole or something.
Yeah, there are various utilities that have drilled various test holes, test pits for all sorts of gas, hydro, bell, cable, that type of thing. Not just us.
It's a water pipe, but anyways, it doesn't matter. So it's irrelevant. It's just, I was just curious.
We did install a fair bit of water, sanitary and storm infrastructure as part of the long-term care project. That was a joint effort between us and the county.
And to be able to get that water from where the well is proposed, there was some of that piping was put in to get down to the well house there, which is across from Tim Marks. Yeah. Okay. Doug, Councillor Townsend.
Thank you. Just one other question, and I was kind of the same mindset that Councillor Hutchinson was, that it was down closer to South Street. Is this well location going to be, because I know with the Rockwood, they're going to have a, what do you call it, a overflow pond or retention
Stormwater
pond
management.
or
Stormwater.
stormwater pond? Is this well going to be anywhere near that it could be affected if we had big rain and that pond overflowed? Just, you know, with well waters and land overflow water.
Go ahead, Jeff.
That was taken into consideration when the pond was designed and picking the location of the well. A fair bit of engineering effort has gone into ensuring the pond will not negatively impact the well.
No. Anything else? Then we need a motion to enter into this agreement. Deputy Mayor, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Shea. Thanks, Jeff. Any further questions on the motion? All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Director.
welcome.
Questions? At this point, there's always an opportunity for questions by any of the members. And Councillor Hutchison, or Councillor
That's all right.
Deputy Mayor Hutchison.
Thank you.
I'm looking at one.
Director Aiken, before you run away, sir, I just want to put my hand up as quick as I could. Yeah. Just checking, because I haven't drove by it for a couple of weeks, Victoria Street, Nate. I just looked for an update on that. Thank you.
It's still on our radar. No, we have not mobilized there yet, but it's still on the work agenda for this year.
Okay, so you have to my main. But at what point does it become too late just to, out of curiosity?
Given that it's primarily base work, I'm confident we can still complete that in the month of October, early November.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? Seeing none? Bylaws. We have one, and it's just a confirming bylaw. Run quicker this time, Director. Maybe you'll be able to get out of here. Thanks, Jeff. Confirming bylaw. Do I have a mover and a seconder to move? Councillor Forrester and Councillor Townsend. Any questions on the bylaw? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. New business. None that I'm aware of. Jamie's not aware of any. Then announcements. Any announcements? Yes, Councillor Forrester.
Right. Just a few of many things happening. Saturday, October 26th at 6 p.m. the Normanby Optimists will be hosting a murder mystery in Practical Magic. Starts at 6. Tickets are $40 in advance. The adult roller skating program is having a Halloween event on October 26th, 7 to 10, at the Newstead Arena. And then the Newstead Craft Show will be Saturday, November 2nd, 9:30 to 4 at the Newstead Arena and Community Center.
And the following day, the Lions Club will be putting on their 38th pork and kraut dinner. Tickets need to be purchased in advance. Used to be there at the door, but now they want advance tickets sales. So there's a number of slots within that those can be purchased from various Lions Club members as well too. Anything else? At the last council meeting, I indicated that the Bentic plowing match would be last Saturday. It's this Saturday. Thank you. I'm glad I didn't have it the other way around, or yeah, you would have missed it altogether. But this Saturday, on the fourth concession of Bentic, just off of the county line. one of the Hamill properties, Chris Hamill's property. So it'll be just west of where it was last year, before you get to Albermill Lake. Anything, just one other thing, and it's not a week ago last Sunday, just as an update, Saugeen Conservation Headquarters in Formosa got hit by lightning. A lot of damage to the building. Blew the doors out, blew the windows out of the, from what I understand, blew the windows out of the boardroom, blew the front doors off. Some structural damage. There's a retaining wall on the east and north side. As the building's built into the hill there, the retaining wall, a number of the Jersey barriers were blowing out of the retaining wall, cracked. Of course, they're still trying to figure out, I think, behind the walls, what electrical, they are back up in operation, conservation, but at a modified scale, to say the least. Thankfully, I guess if there was one good thing about it, as the chair, when I was speaking to her, said thankfully that it happened on Sunday morning and not on the Friday morning. Friday morning, and they had all staff in the building for a training session of some sort, whatever it was. But on Sunday morning, when the lightning hit, there was nobody in the building. So escaped any casualties or any human injury, but the building itself is still up. Engineers are structural, taking a look at what it is, the effect that it has on it, and whether the building will be salvageable or not. I don't know if you've got any other updates, Mr. Vice Chair.
No, well, one of the good things is that all the software, there was no damage there. There was considerable smoke in that room, but it looks like all the backups and everything are good. None of the laptops were affected. And once again, the important thing is nobody was there. Nobody was hurt. So that was the best part of it, if you could look at the best part of it. So
Spoke to a friend that lives in Formosa, and I guess when that wasn't the only structure that got hit in Formosa, but they said, my thought, or the individual's thought was, if this is what bombing is, then we went through it. She said it just rocked, shook everything. It was incredible. They said just the amount of electricity that struck Formosa, very centralized. We could go Sunday. No, it was kind of south of us, but yeah, it hit Formosa really hard. Anyways, and don't know whether there's anything else. Councillor Hutchison.
Yeah, a couple things. Just to shout out about the Halloween party that West Gray is hosting in Durham on October 26th, 10 to 2. I know our Cody is doing a lot of work on this, so there's information out there. I'm sure they'll have a big turnout. They usually do. And I think he was looking for help and volunteers on that also. And then the other, I have a question about, is there something on today in terms of a presentation or something, Project Zero fire extinguishers at 1 o'clock?
I think Michelle or Jamie can.
Right. So is that like a
little more highlight on that?
What all that was entailed there?
Through Miracles to Council, yes, someone from the fire services will be in attendance. Not sure if it's the deputy or the chief that will be here, and then someone from Enbridge as well at 1 o'clock.
So I'm saying that's
a presentation, if you will, of recognition for the seniors and smoke alarms. West Gray Fire was successful in their initiatives through that program, and as such,
meeting. Okay, that's here at the office. Councillor Townsend. Doug?
Also, I believe this Saturday is the fundraiser for the Woods family, taking place at the Fall Diamond. Is that this weekend or next weekend?
this weekend. Yes. Carrie, do you have any further updates on it?
I don't have any further updates, but I know that they are doing the tribute ball diamond to.
Yeah. And as of the update on Emily, October the 10th, but I think they are going continuing. The funeral service is Thursday, 4 to 7 at the arena. And yeah. Words can't use to describe the families going through. For fellow staff members here. Condolences. Okay. Anything else? Other announcements? Once, twice, closed session, none, report, none. So we're down to number 8. Thank you very much. 2 o'clock, we have planning with 2 reports, I believe, on the planning agenda.